This video is going to take us through calculating the mean, the median, and the mode for a data set. So all three of these, mean, median, and mode, which in theory you did learn how to deal with in middle school, they're all called measures of center, which is one way to think of that is a typical value for a data set. So if you have to summarize the data with one number, this might be it. Think of it in terms of like grade point average, GPA. That's a mean. And you'll hear median in terms of like median home value or median temperature. So, so each of these, the mean is you do the sum of all of the points, all of the data points, and then you divide by the number you have. And the symbol for the mean is X bar. So you do the sum and then divide by how many of that you have. The mean is the best measure of center if your data is evenly spaced out. So no data points are much greater than or much less than any of the other data. We're going to call those points outliers. So the median is another type of data set, measure of center. It is the numerical middle. So if you have data, so let's say you have 6 data points, the median is what is the number that divides it into a lower half and an upper half. So if you have an even number of values, the median is the mean of the two middle values. And then if you have an odd number of values and they're in order, the median is the middle one. So see, 1 is below it, 1 is above it. So, and then the last measure of center, the median is the best measure of center if the data has those outliers, so values that are much greater than or much less than the other data points. And part of the reason for this, by the way, is if you notice when you find the mean, you're doing a sum of all of the data. And so every data point has equal weight in the mean. But for the median, you're actually canceling out and moving towards the center. And so the median doesn't care how big an outlier it is. It just cares where it is. And so the reason the median works out, and we'll see it with an actual data point, is it just knows there's a much larger number than it, or a much larger or a much smaller number in the data set. And then the mode, which I probably haven't really used since middle school, is the value that occurs most often. And a data set can have one mode, and we'll call that unimodal. It can have no mode, or it can have more than one mode. Some common ones are bimodal, is 2 modes, and then you can have multimodal. Multimodal typically means 3 or more. So the next video is actually going to do calculations of each of these in an example.